Hey, what's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. Today, another video about footsies, because that's a thing to talk about lately, I guess, because I've been making all those videos. And again, what is footsies? Footsies has progressed to basically not even the idea of what it used to be, right? It's basically an all-encompassing idea of like neutral, in a sense, I feel like, right? And even what could be footsies isn't really footsies anymore because the property of moves don't even, function the same way. But I want to talk today about Ryu versus Vega, actually, because I want to show some Ryu versus Vega footsies in Super Turbo that you might not be aware about. And what brings us on is I saw this video. As we see Max here, he is his ooh la la is getting touched. He's being touched inappropriately, or maybe he's allowing it to happen. Maybe he's just thinking about the next thing to shill. I don't know, but let's see what he has to say.
Ultimate footsie game growing up in like when I was playing games competitively in the early 2000s and shit was Super Turbo. Super Turbo was always the ultimate footsie game. Always. But you tell me that Super Turbo is a pure footsie game. You look me dead in the eyes and tell me that shit. It's more about space control, right? Not as much rounded footsies.
And then I want to look at this comment here. What is this?
Fight game. Every Street Fighter game that you're like, I want pure footsies, and then go fight Vega and Super Turbo. Tell me how that goes.
So again, and I don't necessarily disagree with everything that he said in this video, because I do think footsies is such a broad term now. It's not even what it normally meant. But I want to talk about Vega, Vega's footsies or whatever. Because Vega's footsies aren't even, if you actually played the game and know what at least we used to call footsies back in the day, Vega's footsies aren't that good, actually. So let's look at some of this, right? And in general, just because I got to take a shot at him, I don't fuck with Max after that. I still can't believe that motherfucker. He's got what? 1.65 million people on YouTube, however many people he had on fucking Twitch. That dude used to shout me out, link to my videos. And then when people started saying that I faked cancer and all this kind of bullshit, that guy pretended he didn't know me. And I was like, what the fuck? But then guess what? Then when he saw his audience like me, then he's like, oh yeah, I do know Clayton. I'm like, you're fucking afraid of me with a million fucking people? Fuck you, idiot. Anyway, so what do we got here? Let's look at again what traditional footsies, what we called footsies. Because footsies was really just mashing on duck short with Ryu. Because that was his poke back in the day, before you could even poke with the fireball. So let's look at something like versus Vega footsies, right? What do we got here? Oh, my duck short beats a slide. Look at that. Sometimes you can't even slide. Vega's just afraid. He's just going to block. The short didn't even come out. His slide didn't even come out. It's like, oh, fuck, I'm scared. Don't make me do it, Dad. Don't make me do it, Dad. Oh, shit. Well, what about claw? What about just trying to jab? Oh, no. Duck short beats it. No, see, you can't even get it out. What about a medium? No, it beats medium too. And if it doesn't, sometimes you can do a medium. So we've already established, just from this little quick thing right here, Vega's footsies, if we're thinking about traditional, and this is easier with old Ryu, of course, but if we're thinking about the very sort of basic idea of footsies, of what footsies was back in Street Fighter 2. Again, Ryu could not poke with the fireball until Championship Edition. And then Super Ryu got the red fireball, but there used to be an extra hurt box on Ryu's fireball. So he could not actually poke with fireballs, right? So he had no long-range poke that was actually good. So you had to be mashing on duck short, because duck short almost had this sort of like force field. It was so powerful and so strong, right? It was one of his few, it was like a little defensive wall that he could try to move to get in it. And then when you combine that with proximity guard, proximity blocking, however you want to say it, you got to remember, if you yourself are not in neutral or doing another move as well, if you were to even press back, there's this quasi sort of like block stun where I can then move in more and you're actually stunned a little bit. It can allow you to throw from ranges, which is, again, something I've never seen before, talked about before. Normal people just say proximity guard. They're just like, oh, well, it makes you go into a block animation even if you don't have to block a move. But they're not actually seeing the whole deeper picture, right? But let's look at a little bit more of this, right? So again, I've got the duck short. It's beating all this shit, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to attack. But Ryu's duck short, it's very powerful. So the one move that Vega does have, though, which is to talk about in footsies, so to speak, is his stand medium kick does have a lot of priority, or its hitboxes and hurtboxes are good, right? So that is a difficult move to beat. Now, Ryu can try to sweep it, but, you know, you're not really, that's a little bit, you know, risque. You know what I mean? And then another thing this gives an opportunity to point out is you got to remember back in the day too, which makes Vega's stand medium kick good, is not every character actually had standing attacks that you had to block ducking. So Vega is a exception of a character that can actually walk forward while poking and the other opponent cannot just duck it, right? So that is basically the one footsie move that Vega has that is legitimately hard for Ryu to beat. But pretty much everything else, Ryu actually footsie-wise beats, you know, again, more so old Ryu. Turbo Ryu is more suspect for certain things, especially slide. But again, the idea that Vega automatically wins footsies or, you know, whatever it might be implying actually isn't true, right? So let's look at some other things too. So once Vega's annoyed by all this footsie stuff, let's look at this. Something you might not know about old Ryu that doesn't actually get talked about is, although you think about new Ryu as having the awesome jump strong, and certainly if we're thinking about damage comparatively, new Ryu gets a lot of damage off his jump strong. Too much, I think, you know. I do think the move does too much damage for what it is, especially when you can get 3 juggles with it if you space it properly to get too much. But anyway, but old Ryu's jump strong actually has a fucking ton of hang time that you can do it preemptively and it beats almost anything Vega can even do, okay? So basically, you see this, boom, jump strong. Let's go back just a little bit. This is the production value, so we don't, boom. Why don't you watch this, boom. I preemptively do it. And the reason this is so good with old Ryu is because new Ryu, although new Ryu jump strong does have a lot of priority, new Ryu is trying to hit you, let's say. Old Ryu is just fucking whiffing in the air. And it's a, let's say, air footsie. Much like duck short, I'm like, this is my invincible move. This is my invincible move. Old Ryu jump strong, you could say, because the hang time on it is so good, is a, I'm holding down the button, my invincible move. You can't beat this, right? Let's watch some more examples, right? As it goes very slow. Watch this, see? I'm already preemptively doing it, right? And you see the hitboxes? There's no hitbox for him to even hit. I'm invincible, and my move is still there. It's going the whole time, dude. Like, you're not going to beat it. Look how early I'm doing that. The thing, so that's, again, I'm trying to get to, it's like a almost, for a comparison, duck short in the ground. It's my force field move when we're both on the same plane, okay? Watch this. Again, there's just nothing you can really do. Even if I'm behind you, and hopefully this will be slow enough for you to see, if Vega tries to throw, the game will not allow you to throw this move. Watch the yellow hitbox that pops up. Did you see that? We'll go back. Watch that again. Did you see that yellow hitbox popped up? That is Ryu's force field in the air, so to speak. His little magnet almost in the air, like, you're going to come to me? You're going to come to me, bro? Just like I said, how footsies could almost be like a magnet. You know what I mean, in that one video. Another thing, too, because you're preemptively jumping with this move, unlike Ryu's jump strong, the new Ryu jump strong, whereas, again, new Ryu jump, he is reacting to you jumping at him, let's say. He wants to hit you. Old Ryu, I'm reacting to you just jumping in the first place, which means there's certain instances where Vega will not even be able to jump against the wall. Do you see that? Because I'm not actually trying to hit the attack, I'm just reacting to the jump. Watch. You see that? Whereas if you're a new Ryu and trying to do that, that would not work because the move does not have that kind of hang time. And again, you might say, oh, Vega might be able to claw. Well, no. Actually, that's not even guaranteed. So let's get into, where else did I show? Oh yeah, so we're in this little situation here. So here's a situation I want to talk about. Does this have a flaw? Because it looks like nothing can beat this. If you could mash duck short as fast as humanly possible, whatever, does this have a weakness? So in the corner, it is more realistic that Vega could do a claw dive or a claw spike thing. I actually don't know what the fuck that move is called. Watch this. Something like that basically beats all your moves unless you try to do a stand medium kick, which, you know, then might subject you to other things, but that can beat that. But here's what we have here. If you're in the fucking corner, I'm matching on duck short, well, boom. He can be a red fireball if I do just that. So say, well, okay, but like, what if he wall dives? Well, I'm just duck shorting, then boom. When I if I see him actually jump off the wall for the second time, I can either stand forward or stand fierce. And that basically shuts down everything. So then this is another little thing just to end this, because I don't know if people watch that, because I've actually never seen this trick posted before. Boom. On the left side of the screen, look, that won't cross up. But on the right side of the screen, that crosses up. Kind of neat, right? I've actually never seen that before. So anyway, and that's not that I think that Ryu beats Vega. I don't think that Ryu beats Vega or anything like that. But I can tell you, you know, again, this wasn't necessarily that I disagree with everything that Max was saying in that video. We've just been doing all these footsie videos. But, and you know, certainly I agree that, you know, what is footsies even now? In the first place, footsies is such a broad fucking term. It basically encompasses everything. It's basically neutral, everything. But at least if you're thinking about Street Fighter from the most sort of pure, what we called footsies when I was a kid growing up, it was that. And Vega's footsies are not some sort of, again, from a traditional viewpoint, amazing. Hopefully that's which again, because it's like, boy, that Vega's footsies, you can actually scrub people out. And I've even said before, I forget, it's just, when I came back to play Super Turbo, and I say quotation marks came back to play Super Turbo, just randomly playing online. When I would play, dude, lots of people played Vega, these new players, whoever, and you know, people play video games so often now. I'll tell you what, if you just do simple shit like this, just simple knowledge checks about people who have not played real fucking Street Fighter back in the day, like, dude, I would fucking destroy Vega players just doing simple shit like this. Only the very best players beat me when I was playing Super Turbo. Because like I said, there's this sort of the quasi bad player to the quasi good player. You know, they find that one thing that they can bully you with. They found that one thing that is their autopilot. You know what I mean? And they try to go off that. But because they're not truly good at the game, you can also bully them and autopilot them a lot, right? Because just something simple like that, and I suggest you to try. You would be surprised. Like, if you can mash on duck short very fast and you have just a little bit of reaction time, that is actually deceptively hard for Vega to beat, right? This isn't that I think this isn't that I think Ryu beats Vega, because I don't. I think Vega beats Ryu. But if you just do simple stuff like this, simple knowledge checks against people who have not actually played Street Fighter when footsies was what we called footsies, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you shouldn't fireball ever, or you shouldn't dragon punch, you know what I mean? If you're, you know, do other shit, you know what I mean? But you would be surprised how just adding something so simple like this, you can tell Vega's quotation marks footsies is actually not that fucking good in Super Turbo compared to maybe what people might lead you to believe. Anyway, remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.